1.8 seconds. Charles Barkley.
Johnson around his man, drives his
Chambers scores. So LeBron Jackson just Stoudemire scores. Jackson, what a defensive effort that time.
Crowder looking for the alley. Kevin Durant. Break it out here. With a long one, won't get it. Long rebound.
Welcome in, Planeteers. I'm Jake, aka Fallen Founder. You know me, and I hope you're all having a great little holiday season. Merry Christmas to you if that's what you're celebrating, and just glad that hopeful that I guess you had a good little holiday with friends and family if you were able to. I certainly was, and thank God for that, because watching this Phoenix Suns product has not been enjoyable to me at all. It's just not fun. And I'm sure I speak for a lot of us when I say that. Unfortunately, as you all know, Justin, my co-host, is not going to be here. Kevin, my co-host, is not going to be here until January. And Hamo is on taking a little bit of a break too. So it's just going to be me and you. So feel free to write me in the chat. Let's get some questions going if you want. This is going to be a little bit of a rant episode. I was hoping it was going to be a little bit more light and playful. As you saw from the last episode when we had our guest Jay Joyce come on, we both predicted, I believe, a 3-1 4-game record coming into this episode. Of course, we played the Detroit Pistons. We had the Denver Nuggets 2 times. And then, of course, we finished up last night, with the Dallas Mavericks. And now you hear, sounds like I'm coming down with something. Perfect timing right during a show. Excuse me. So let's get rid of that as well as we can. And still not doing it. There we go. There we go. A little beer, a little Christmas cheer to get me going. That'll be better. Okay. That's the most exciting thing about the Suns right now is you get to drink while you watch them. That's for sure. All right. Let's break down these games, starting with the Detroit Pistons, which might have almost been the most frustrating of the week. It was surpassed only by the Dallas Mavericks loss. But in the end, the Phoenix Suns did lose to the 12-17 now Detroit Pistons, 133-125. This game, and of course, all of our games that we're going to be discussing here on this week's episode were without Devin Booker, which is obviously tough to see, and we were also without Grayson Allen for most of these games as well. But he was here for the game against the Detroit Pistons, where he chipped in a solid 2 points in his 20 minutes of play. Let's see, the obviously the leaders, that you expect to step up. You expect somebody like a Kevin Durant, a Bradley Beal, and to a degree maybe a Yusuf Nurkic. Guys that are veterans in this league. Certainly with Beal and Durant with a pedigree of dominance at one point, especially on Kevin Durant's side of things. Kevin Durant upheld his end of the bargain, scoring 43 points on 14 of 26 shooting. 4 of 9 from 3, 11 of 11 from the charity stripe. Strangely, of course, and perhaps unfortunately at the end, 8 turnovers to 6 assists. We've said this how many times? We need somebody else to handle the ball a little bit. He can be an elite scorer. He should not have the ball in his hands as often as he does when he's starting to make these types of mistakes, these bad passes. 8 turnovers is just brutal. 8 of our 19 came from one Kevin Durant. Backing him up, though, Bradley Beal scoring 26 points on 11 of 20 shooting, 3 of 6 from 3, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, only a couple of, turnovers in that game. So from the look of it, if I would have told you the Phoenix Suns shot over 57% from the field, over 48% from three-point line, over 91% from the charity stripe, you'd say, wow, how much did we beat the Detroit Pistons by? Only to realize that apparently we decided not to play defense for the entirety of the game. That's the hard truth of it. We basically fell apart in the first quarter and never came back. Win probability had us at one point when we basically started the game, with the likelihood to win. We lost that win probability with 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in the first quarter as we went down 28-15 against the Detroit Pistons, who fired Coach Monty last week. That is brutal. It's just brutal. Any way you slice it. If I was going to tell you that, Cade Cunningham, I think Jaden Ivey could be a quality player. I'm a big Jalen Duren fan as well. Jalen Duren, 7 of 7. 7 of 7. Yusuf Nurkic, my man. Mason Plumlee. Where are you guys? How do you not stop him from making one basket? He was perfect. 7 of 7. That's absurd. 17 points, 11 rebounds. What a phenomenal game from Jalen Duren. Cade Cunningham led the way for the Pistons, 28 points on 9 of 19 shooting. Got himself 13 assists. Jaden Ivey chipped in 20 points as well on 7 of 14 shooting. And as I already mentioned, the shooting numbers for the Suns. How about this? The Pistons, 55% overall, 48.7% from three. Was this an all-star game? I'm not sure. It felt like it. They're starting Tim Hardaway Jr. I did not know he was still in the league. He chipped in 16 points. Tobias Harris, perhaps I always would remember Tobias Harris as the guy that basically had the worst contract in the league for the longest time. A max contract guy for the Philadelphia 76ers. Yeah, he's now with the Detroit Pistons, trying to give him that veteran leadership. He got him 10 points, 3 rebounds. This was not a Tobias Harris game. But somehow, like I said, Suns thought, hey, no Devin Booker, no problem. We don't need to play defense. I mean, that's how it came across, right? That's how it came across. Let's go, into the next game from this week, which is going to be the first of the games against the Denver Nuggets, which, again, they were a favorite in at the beginning of the game. Came in at 2-1 odds that they were going to win this game. Again, they're just a healthier team right now. They were struggling too, a little bit with health, I guess. They did not have Jamal Murray in this game. They'd have him in the next game, but not in this game. And of course, we are down Devin Booker, but now we're also down Grayson Allen, a guy that led the league in 3-point shooting, and I think has been a very quality player for the Suns since he's arrived. Right, but when you're missing Jamal Murray on the Denver Nuggets, I still think we would have a good chance to win the game. We should beat the Denver Nuggets, but I understand they've got a guy that, in the Joker, that might go out and win himself another MVP here. The Suns, we led in this game at 6-2. It looks like a 4-point lead, 5-point lead at one point. We actually did okay in the first quarter. Second quarter, okay. It ends up at halftime. We're down 3 points. Okay, competitive, I guess, and interesting way. We fell apart completely in the second half. Again, it's hard to understand what happened. We got outscored 28-45 in the third quarter. Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Tyus Jones. We have 4 of our starters in. They have 4 of theirs. But this team thinks that, a lot of people were thinking the Suns were going to be better this year. And we're just not seeing it yet. Leading the way for this god-awful game, which I know many of you, like me, sick of watching this game in that second half because of just how brutal it was. I guess I'd say Kevin Durant led the way. 23 points on 8 of 15 shooting. Grabbed himself 9 rebounds. Again, he had 3 turnovers, only 2 assists, so more turnovers to assist ratio for Kevin Durant. Why we have Tyus Jones, Monty Morris coming in to play point guard. Bradley Beal can certainly handle the ball, and I get that maybe, I don't know, nobody else can hit shots, possibly. Bradley Beal did okay shooting. 23 points, 9 of 17 shooting, 5 of 7 from 3. A couple of assists. Tyus Jones, 9 points, 4 of 8. He's not an explosive scorer, so I don't want to like discredit him. But this was a bad Yusuf Nurkic game. 4 points, 1 of 3 shooting. Played just under 15 minutes. Got himself into foul trouble early. 4 fouls. Got played off the court. We throw in Mason Plumlee. Gets about 15 minutes, 6 points. That's it, of note. Oso Ighodaro comes in, gets the most minutes at the center position, over 18. 7 points, 6 rebounds. Not too bad for a second-round rookie. But, I mean, again, and I get it. You're playing against Nikola Jokic, the Joker, right? The multiple-time MVP. And he got away with it. 32 points, 12 of 17 shooting, 4 of 6 from 3. Only 2 rebounds. But that's because the Nuggets were making their shots over 51%. They're not a good three-point shooting team. And kind of like, our friend over at Bright Side of the Sun, John Voight, always talks about, if you are having a bad shooting streak, don't worry. Come play the Phoenix Suns. We'll help you out. They shot 39% from 3. Not fiery by any stretch, but decent for them. And, of course, why not? You're playing the Suns. We don't understand perimeter defense. And we don't have, I think Nurk can play interior defense. I think he can be a good interior defender, but it's not like we have strong interior defenders besides him. So we play drop coverage because we're worried about them attacking the basket, but we can't stop them on the perimeter. So I don't know why we might as well just start giving up 2s. We're going to give up 3s anyway. Just give up the 2 and go back to 7 seconds or less Suns. Which, by the way, was interesting. The other day I read that stat, and it was something like the 7 seconds or less Suns were playing today, they'd be like the slowest team in the league. The evolution of this game is phenomenal, right? But yeah, as I mentioned, the Joker, 32 points. He was backed up by Michael Porter Jr. with 24. Russ Westbrook got the start, 11 points. But, Bradley Beal mentioned he got called out after the game. He's got to be better defensively. And it's true. Everyone's got to be better defensively. I'm sorry. Royce O'Neal, you were brought in to be a 3-point shooter and a defensive first player. He went 2 of 8 from 3, 1 steal, 0 blocks. I mean, okay. Ryan Dunn, I don't want to be too tough on a late first-round rookie. He shot 2 of 6, 1 of 4 from 3, 0 steals, 2 blocks. Josh Okogie, 0 of 4 shooting, 0 of 1 from 3, 0 steals, 0 blocks in 12 minutes, 50 seconds. It's tough, coming back into the chat so I can take a break from looking at these terrible stats. What's up, Matt? Josh, how we doing? Juan Carlos, good to see you guys. Thanks for being here. All the other Planteers listening in, appreciate you. I appreciate you guys. And I know you appreciate the Suns podcasting world and the Suns fandom. This is tough. This is tough to go through. Let's talk about the highlight of the week. We then immediately came back, played the Denver Nuggets at home now in Phoenix on Christmas Day. I watched this one. I hope you were all able to watch it. The Suns, again, were not favored to win this game. Jamal Murray's back, interestingly. And you would think, the Suns would probably have an even harder time playing against these Nuggets. It seemed like a totally different team. The Suns end up getting the win here after getting blown out the night before. And this time we win 110-100. The other game I've already deleted in my mind was a much worse loss for us. This one we win by 10. Kevin Durant leading the way, 27 points, 9 of 26 shooting. It wasn't him. This was not a Kevin Durant game, 9 of 26. 0 of 5 from 3. 4 rebounds, 6 assists. He had 0 turnovers. I guess that's a Kevin Durant game. That's a great game for Kevin Durant now. 2 steals, 2 blocks. He was bought in on defense. Kevin can be a good defensive player. Maybe not lockdown defense, but he can be a plus defender out there. They started Ryan Dunn in this game. He didn't really do anything from a box score perspective. I thought he played some decent defense. Nurk stayed out of foul trouble, amazingly. Played almost 30 minutes in this game. not a big score, 8 points, but 13 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 turnover. I'll take that all the time. This, to me, was the Bradley Beal game, shooting 11 of 21, 3 of 7 from 3. Got himself 4 assists, got himself 4 steals and a block. How about that? Bradley Beal, was doing a great job. I remember even in the post-game interview, Kevin Durant's like, I don't know why you're interviewing me. This was Bradley Beal's game. and I would say that's true. Kevin played a great game for this game. Again, not great shooting numbers, but a great game otherwise. This was more of the Bradley Beal game. But as I mentioned too, Jamal Murray was back. Didn't seem to make a difference for the Nuggets. He scored 13 points, got 6 rebounds, 6 assists, had 4 turnovers. That's the Jamal Murray, Olympic Jamal Murray that we're used to. Michael Porter Jr. Backed up the Joker. He had 22 points, and the Joker had the 25 points, 15 rebounds. Aaron Gordon, this was a interesting game for sure, and that I'm kind of surprised the Suns were able to lock in like this. Russ Westbrook off the bench for the Nuggets. It was 17. Really not much else to mention. Tyus Jones, on the Suns, 7 of 9 shooting. So he can make the baskets. Give him a little bit more volume, maybe. 4 assists, 1 turnover. That was the game against the Nuggets. The one win, the week. And then let's talk about just this terrible game. This game against the Mavericks. I don't know. It's
Richard, what's happening?
Guys, I don't know what's happening here. If you would have told me the Dallas Mavericks were going to be without Luka Doncic and that they were going to lose Najee Marshall, who started for them, and PJ Washington, who started for them, they're going to lose them. They were going to get ejected in the game. And that the Mavericks were going to shoot just over 43% from the field, 35% from 3. I would have asked you, even with Nurkic getting ejected, Devin Booker being out, Grayson Allen being out, I would have asked you, how much did we beat the Dallas Mavericks by? Luka Doncic is a phenomenal player. He's a phenomenal player. In retrospect, yes, the Suns should have drafted him. Absolutely. I think that's fair. At the time, we needed a big man. We needed a difference-making big man, and that's why we went with DeAndre Ayton. So I supported that decision. I still do. If you're going to ask me who the better player is Luka. Luka's better. It's just the difference. But Luka and Kyrie are so much of the Dallas Mavericks that you would think, especially if you lose Luka, you're losing the game. When I heard the news that Luka is looking to be out for about a month, I thought the Mavericks were going to lose just about every game. I figured they'd fall apart. That is the difference right now with a team like the Dallas Mavericks, who can get scrappy wins against a Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal team. Kyrie Irving in this game. 20 points, led the way. 6 of 21 shooting. 6 of 21. Almost all of his points came from 3, 5 of 10, almost all of his baskets. He made 1 other basket. So he was 1 of 11 inside the 3. Wow. He had 5 assists. He had 5 turnovers. Kyrie Irving, he only had 3 free throws. Made them all. He had 4 fouls. It's not like Kyrie Irving saved them in this game. Every single player on the Dallas Mavericks team played hard. That's what it looked like when I was watching them. They were playing hard, playing with energy, going after 50-50 balls. Somebody I forgot to kind of shout out in the last game that I noticed during that win against the Denver Nuggets was Josh Okogie. Oh, my God, Josh Okogie, was he not our spirit animal over these last several weeks? Josh Okogie looked like he cared. He was sprinting around the court, swiping at the ball, getting steals, getting blocks, frustrating offensive players, playing perimeter defense. Suns would lose the ball. Josh Okogie would go get it back for him. Say, here, try again, guys. This is our ball. And the players fed off that. But he's Josh Okogie. He is on an inflated contract for trade purposes. I get that. Totally support it. You don't expect Josh Okogie to be your guy, right? In this game, it was just brutal to watch last night. It was basically Kevin Durant versus the Dallas Mavericks at the end. That's how I viewed it. Kevin Durant played almost 38 minutes, scored 35 points on 11 of 19 shooting, 3 of 4 from 3, 10 of 12 from the charity stripe, 3 rebounds only, 0 assists and a turnover, no steals, no blocks. I mean, his job was to come in and make baskets, and he did that. Nobody else could back him up. The second leading scorer on the Suns after Kevin Durant, Royce O'Neal, 14 points. Third leading scorer, Bradley Beal, one of the highest paid guys in the country right now. Forget about the Toronto Raptors. In the association, let's do it that way. Bradley Beal, one of the highest paid players in the association, played over 38 minutes, more than Kevin Durant did. 11 points, 5 of 18 shooting. 5 of 18 shooting. 1 of 5 from 3. 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 turnovers. Tyus Jones, hey, somebody help us, right? 1 of 5 shooting, 3 points. 6 assists, 2 turnovers. Okay, Yusuf Nurkic, the big man. I know Suns fans have been, back and forth on him, usually down on him. Bring us something. No. He got played off the court and, like I said, ejected. He finished with 3 points, 5 rebounds. Mason Plumlee, big man, backing him up. 4 points, 9 rebounds. Oso Ighodaro, 4 points, 3 rebounds. We played Yusuf Nurkic over 13 minutes, Mason Plumlee just under 18, Oso 16. And they just, nobody was really able to do anything. Dallas was without, Derek Lively as well. They're sometimes starter, sometimes backup big man. Mavericks usually have been playing a lot of Daniel Gafford. God, would we have loved to have gotten him. Ton of blocks from that guy. Not in this particular game, but, he had 16 points on 7 of 11 shooting, slamming the ball down on us towards the end of the game multiple times. Looked brutal. Klay Thompson. You'd think, Klay Thompson carried the Mavericks? No. 11 points, 4 of 9 shooting, 1 of 6. I apologize if this monologue is sounding like stilted. It's because it's brutal. I can't, the most exciting thing to talk about is how badly we played. That's it. Yeah. Michael Evans in the chat. This team is like last year. It's bipolar. 100% it is. 100%. It's, it's hard to understand it, to be honest. Ryan Dunn also got the start in this game. Don't worry. We came in with 5 points. 1 of 5 shooting. Jeez. Josh Okogie got more minutes. Good for him. As I said, though, he's Josh Okogie. He got over 21 minutes, 8 points, 3 of 8 shooting. Not terrible for him. 2 of 5 from 3. I feel like that's good for him. Yeah, it is good for him. 40%. 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Got a couple steals, got a block. Royce O'Neal tried to play defense, 2 steals, 2 blocks. And I caught only a snippet of Suns Jam last night. So if I'm off, I apologize to Mr. Voida. He'll let me know later if he watches this. It sounded like he appreciated at least the defensive effort. The effort carried over from the win against the the Denver Nuggets to this game against the Dallas Mavericks. We're just going to make shots, and sometimes in the NBA, you can't make shots on a given night. Even the horrible Vancouver Grizzlies would win 11, 12 games in a season. Bad teams can score on you. Mavericks aren't a bad team, but without Derek Lively, without Luka Doncic, with Kyrie Irving shooting terrible, with Klay Thompson not really doing much, they get the win. So, yeah, Planeteers, what's happening? I would normally ask a co-host this, but what's happening? I'm not sure. I feel like, what's that? That's what I mean. Look at us. Look at us. Who would have guessed? Not me. Not me. I wouldn't have guessed. Just brutal. Just brutal. All right. Shazam player of the week.
Shazam!
It's Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's player of the week. I don't know who else you'd go with, unless it's solely going to be Josh Okogie because he tried hard. The try hard, the try hard award. I'll be shocked if he doesn't win the Hustle Award this year. The Dan Marley Hustle Award. Kevin Durant had some great games. His bad games had him in the mid-20s in terms of scoring. Did have the big turnover games, but otherwise he was doing a lot to try and keep this team afloat. Right now, I'd argue that he's the best player on the team. I used to think it was Devin Booker. Maybe it's a 1A, 1B kind of on any given night. You want it, I think, to be Devin Booker to kind of see that continual growth. But I'd say right now it's Kevin Durant. Yeah, I don't know who else you could give it to. If you think there's somebody else worthy, let me know. I'd be curious. But let's see here. This is the Suns Planet Bah Humbug. Suns Bug. Bah Suns Bug. That's what I tweeted. Yeah, that was clever. I was clever after about 6 glasses of wine last night. Not Chilean wine. Sorry, Juan. JC, we had just what were we drinking? We were drinking white Sauvignon Blanc. Yeah, New Zealand. Yeah, that's what we need. We need to get a New Zealander on here. Get up my wine consumption. Let's go in the club. Let's go be miserable in the club right now.
What's the name of that nightclub of yours? What's the name of that nightclub of yours again?
You talking about the Boom Boom Room?
Yeah, the Boom Boom Room. That's it. Yeah.
It's amazing how that quick 30-second clip is the best highlight of the Suns this week for me. But that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. In fact, just to give myself another swig of beer, I'm going to show off because I did say Kevin Durant won, right? So let's show off a little bit of Josh Towns. It's well-deserved. And like I said, the week would have looked better if we won.
They go to Kevin Durant. Out to Durant. Here's his 3.
Shout out our main guy, Hunt Star, Josh. You see him in the chat putting that together. But you may have seen from our account we were tweeting out earlier this week, and I was very curious because it's been some time now since Kevin Durant's come to the Valley, and it's been some time. Bradley Beal came in. We traded off DeAndre Ayton. It wasn't that long ago that the Phoenix Suns were the Bubble Suns. Followed that up with going up 2-0 in the NBA Finals to getting just smacked since then, it feels like. And we are sitting at 15-15. I think that's right, 15-15. And if I would have told you 3 years ago, Devin Booker is going to play with Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal, you would have said this is a 60-win team. I thought it was going to be a great team. One thing that I remember from the championship window team, and don't forget, we followed that 2-0 season up where we are up 2 games to none against the Bucks with a record-setting 62 wins season for the Suns. Could be off on that. It was a great regular season. It didn't work in the playoffs, obviously. We didn't go as far as we wanted. But correct me if I'm wrong, Planeteers, it was fun. We were having fun. Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Cam Payne, DeAndre Ayton. I know his motor, but I mean, it looked like I'm seeing some guys in the chat point out, like, look at the body language. Look at how just down this team is. This team looks like, the kids outside of school that are like, on their skateboard smoking weed or something, just like, man, school's for losers. Like they don't look like they want to try hard. And if I'm Matt Ishbia, I'm sitting back and I'm like, How much are we paying for this product to be 15-15? I know injuries have bit this team. They bit this team hard. We started off hot. Was it 8-1, something like that? It felt great initially. It doesn't seem to matter. Even when we've gotten healthy again, it doesn't seem like we've been able to put more than a win or two together. So I'm not sure. So I thought about it. Hindsight being 2020. That's the expression, right? It's easier to look back now and grade these trades. It's very interesting to see what the Suns fans thought. If you're able to see your screen, you can see our totally not scientific. I understand that. That's the limitations of a Suns poll. I see JC, or maybe it was his brother, tweeting this one out. But, yep, we decided to go back and regrade, or not regrade, but would you do it in hindsight? All these trades that we did. So in hindsight, do you think the Suns trade for Kevin Durant was worth it? This 2023 trade was the following. Suns received Kevin Durant, TJ Warren. If you remember TJ Warren, he's currently with the Manchester Knickerbockers, the Knicks development team. The Nets received the Twins, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, some other guy I don't know, the 2023 first-round pick of the Suns, the 2025 first-round pick of the Suns, the 2027 first-round pick from the Suns, and a 2028 first-round pick swap from the Suns, a couple of second-round picks from the Milwaukee Bucks, and the 2029 first-round pick from the Suns. The Bucks ended up getting Jay Crowder. Pacers were involved. I totally forgot about that. Getting Serge Ibaka. I don't even know if he played anymore. George Hill, same thing. I don't know if he's even in the league anymore. 3 future second-round picks from Milwaukee, and Jordan Nwora. And cash considerations, the classic cash considerations. So, in hindsight, Planeteers, would you have done this trade? Would you have broken up the group, reached for Kevin Durant, now knowing what you know, not about the record per se? Think of just the player. Would you fight to get Kevin Durant? Would you ship off Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and Jay Crowder? But let's even just focus on the big pieces, right? Mikal and Cam. I'm going to pull up real quick. Here's the numbers. I'll read them off to you so you don't have to strain your eyes on these spreadsheets, right? Kevin Durant this season is doing well. 27.5 points a game. Over 6 rebounds a game. He does have 3.8 assists to 3.1 turnovers. But hey, shooting 42% from 3, that's strong for him. Over 51% from the field. Last season, over 27 points as well. Over 6 rebounds a game, 5 assists as well. So he actually had more assists by a 1.2 margin. Shot a little bit better, 52.3, but a little bit less, 41.3 on 3. And of course, the year that he came in, he played 8 games in the regular season with us before the playoffs, where he averaged 26 points. So I'll give him a little bit of a break there in that 8-game stretch because you remember he came over and rolled his ankle pretty quick. So it was hard to kind of get him acclimated. Mikal Bridges. It's and I'm just gonna for time's sake, I'll just kind of go through their latest numbers, right? With the Knicks this year, Mikal Bridges getting a ton of playing time. Of course, he's playing. That coach, blanking on his name now, but that guy's just known to starters play almost the entire game. He's just under 39 minutes a game. The Iron Man, shooting 50% from the field, 36.9 from 3, 3 rebounds, over 3 assists, 1.6 turnovers, 18.1 points per game. Cam Johnson, he's with Brooklyn right now. They're trying to lose. Cam Johnson's busy trying to show off. Just under 33 minutes a game, shooting 49%, 43% from 3, over 4 rebounds a game, over 3 assists a game, 19.5 points. So 19.5 points coming from Cam, 18.1 coming from Mikal. KD, 27.5. KD's by far the more efficient shooter. Oh, not by far. He's better than both of them at shooting. I'll put it that way. He's a better shooter. He's a better rebounder. And generally, creation-wise, I'd say he's better. Does turn it over a little bit. Defense, I don't know if I would say better. I know Mikhail's had stretches this year of lacking his defensive repertoire. But I feel like Cam was solid. Mikhail was better. Kevin's good. But, again, how many first-round picks? How many first-round picks did we give? We gave up 23, 25, 27, and a pick swap, and then, and 29 from Phoenix. So 4 picks and a pick swap to get that upgrade, that huge upgrade of a few more points of efficiency. I understand that when you get one of the elite players of the game, you got to swing a little bit harder. It's kind of like, think about it this way. Like you might have a nice watch. Let's say that. Let's say you got a nice little Timex. It does everything it's supposed to do. It tells the time and everything. Then there's a Rolex that's $10,000 more. It does the same thing. It's still just telling you the time. Maybe it's got a few more bells and whistles on it. It's more of a status thing, but maybe it does just things a little bit better too. It holds its value maybe a little bit better. I feel like that's kind of what we're looking at here. Yeah, that's when you're trying to get one of these top 5, top 10 players in the league, you need to overpay to get that slight upgrade. To get that little bit more improvement, just to squeeze that juice a little bit more out of the fruit, you got to pay the piper. That's what it was. The basketball gods are cruel to the Suns. I will say this. Looking back now, as we're going to go over the rest of these trades as well, not knowing that the league was going to change the cap situation and decide to punish teams that tried to build big threes and overpay. I mean, that's going to be the thing that we're going to look back on in this era, even if we're successful. Even if we're successful and we end up winning a title this year, which right now I don't think we will. But if somehow we did, we're going to look back at this era and say, oh my God, how lucky we were. Because we paid up. Ishbia came in. He actually had the money. He wanted to spend it. The Suns fans rejoiced. We get an owner that gets us $2 hot dogs, $2 sodas. This guy's the man, Ring of Honor content. Ishbia loves it. We love Ishbia. And then the league comes around and says, we're going to punish the hell out of teams like you. Brutal. The Celtics were so smart in shopping the way they did. I start to wonder if they had a clue that was what was going to happen, because they are so stacked up with talent that are signed long-term. Their ownership situation's strange, but that team is going to be competitive for quite a while. Am I still on here? Let's see here. There we go. Am I back? I'm back, I hope. All of a sudden, I got low internet. That's fantastic. See, the Suns are punishing me. It's hard to check if I can be seen. Let's see here. I got to check on my own devices. That's the tough thing. Let's see here. I am back. Okay. Sorry about that. So I'm going to give you my 2 cents, though, on this deal. I don't make this trade. Kevin Durant is a generational player. Thank you. Kevin Durant is a generational player. LeBron James, to me, people talk Jordan, LeBron. There was people that tried to beat Jordan. They couldn't do it. Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley, there was rivals to him, so to speak. Kobe kind of had some rivals. But to me, the LeBron rival was Kevin Durant for a little bit. Maybe not in terms of titles, but in terms of play. So I get it. Kevin Durant's a great player. I don't send out all of this talent. You might say Kevin Durant's better than Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson. I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I'm disagreeing with you on 4 first-round picks that have completely hamstrung this team moving forward. That's looking back at it, if I do this trade, it might have 1 first-round pick. Although, again, the mentality, the energy, the play of Mikal and Cam, the kind of excitement that they played with, the hustle, that might actually scratch it out completely. That might just be worth its weight. And, that little bit better that Kevin Durant is, Cam and Mikal, not saying that Kevin doesn't try. He certainly does. But they brought that extra hustle that, that Kevin doesn't. He's a little older. And, again, we got to keep him somewhat fresh as we are playing him 38 minutes a game dang near, trying to get ready for the playoffs. So that he'll be exhausted by then. Oh, it's tough playing too. It's tough. But so, yeah, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't have done that. Looking back, I wouldn't have done that. Let's take look at the next one we had out here. All right. So this was obviously right after the win against the Nuggets. Team, Suns Twitter was feeling a little bit better. Suns got the win. Beal played well. In hindsight, do you pull the trigger on this trade? This one's interesting. Suns got Bradley Beal, Jordan Goodwin, also known as Sub-Zero from our last year's drops, and Isaiah Todd. I don't even remember who he is. But Wizards got Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, and the number 7 pick from the Pacers. I'm going to blow this name, Bilal Koulibaly. Either way, we got first-round pick swaps, a bunch of second-round picks, a whole 4 or 5 of them from the Suns. I totally forgot that, again, the Pacers were involved in this trade, too. Apparently, the Pacers are always like to be involved with us. They got some picks as well. Do the Planeteers think we should have done this trade? The early voting from Twitter said, no, don't do this trade either. This is tough. You got to let me know, Michael, what King Nacho said on this one. It's tough for me for this. Bradley Beal, his numbers, right? I'm going to go through his last year's as well because he played 53 games, which is a good amount. That's normal for him in the last 5-6 years. He shot 51%, 43% from 3. That was a career high. Over 4 rebounds a game, 5 assists a game, finished with 18.2 points. Is it me, or it seems like he's taken a step back this year, in my opinion, as I go through these numbers? He's playing about another 40 seconds a game at over 34 minutes a game now, shooting 49.3%. That's 2% worse. 39.1% from 3. That's 4% worse. 77.1 from the charity stripe. That's 4% worse. 3.8 rebounds compared to 4.4 last year. He's playing more minutes. 3.2 assists compared to 5. I understand that's a little bit of the Tyus Jones effect, the shifting of kind of the offensive play. And he's scoring 18.5 points, only 0.3 more points per game. One thing, he's just not always available. It's not bad numbers. Again, Kevin Durant, great playing. He's a great player. He's playing great. But when I think of Kevin Durant, though, one of the reasons why I'm going back now on that, one of the reasons why I don't do that trade is because I think of Kevin Durant as this generational talent, one of the top 5 players in the league. I think he should be able to win with dang near anyone on his squad several games by himself. I feel like we haven't seen that from him since he's come to the Valley. There's been a few games where it's been, wow, look at that. Nobody else helped Kevin. Kevin willed this team to a win. A couple games. I expect it more often. Steph Curry and the Warriors are competitive. Steph Curry keeps these Warriors somehow in the running year after year. LeBron James, for all of our hate of the rival Lakers, go back to the Heat, the Cavs, the Lakers now. He's kept them in the running. Kevin Durant doesn't do that as much. And Bradley Beal, I don't know if he ever really had. He was a great player with Washington when it was John Wall and they kind of made some runs at the playoffs. He's not the same guy. But the most important thing perhaps is, let's be honest, it's the no trade clause. We can't just dump him to somebody because then they can't move him either. Even if we somehow convinced him, to go to, I don't even know if they got the money, but let's say the Utah Jazz. Let's go dump Bradley Beal with the Utah Jazz to help them tank a little bit. Again, he'll play well, but they're not gonna go on a huge run, and they would not be able to then offload him to somebody else again unless they were able to convince somebody. It's like threading a needle. It's trying to blow up the Death Star in your X-wing. You got to use the Force. You can't use the computer. You can't just move Bradley Beal. He's one of the highest paid players in the association on just a huge max contract. KD's on max contract too. We could trade him anytime. Beal, you can't do that. That is the poison pill of the Bradley Beal trade. That's why it's second-round picks and not first-round picks. That's why, it's just tough. Let me read you real quick, how Chris Paul's hanging out in San Antonio. In case you haven't been seeing any San Antonio games, they've been fun to watch. I mean, Wemby makes them fun to watch. And as you'd guess, Paul, he played more of a backup role with the Warriors last year. He's kind of in a mentor state right now, shooting 42.7%, not strong at all. It's among his career worst. Actually, it is his career worst in shooting percentage. 36.4% from three. Still an assassin from the charity stripe, though, 97.7%. He's getting 4 rebounds a game. He was always a good rebounder for his size. 8.2 assists. 8.2 assists in 29 minutes of play. That's nice. And he's getting 9.6 points a game. We saw Chris Paul start to fall apart for this team when it would get to the fourth quarters and he looked gassed. In retrospect, I think you could make an argument that the solution was not to offload him. It was to get a quality backup. Imagine Tyus Jones backing up Chris Paul now. I would have no concerns if we had both of them on this team. Paul could come in and play 25 minutes a game. I think he can still do it at a high level before he gets run down, and Tyus Jones could take over the rest. That would be interesting. I think a lot of people also forget when they think of this trade that Landry Shamet there was a joke for a while that Landry Shamet was marrying Monty Williams' daughter somehow, and that's how he got the big money or something like that. Because why Monty kept trying to play him was asinine, and why somebody convinced somebody to pay Landry Shamet not huge money, but I'm amazed he's in the league. Landry Shamet is a guy that every team has somehow convinced themselves that he's going to get better with them, and he's never really got above like the 10th man in your rotation. Come the playoffs, he shouldn't be in your rotation. In the regular season, he could be at the end of it. He's not the worst player in your team, but he's certainly, you should be nervous when you have to play Landry Shamet. So it's tough, right? This trade, I don't know. The Planeteers said, no, we shouldn't have done it. 57%. Curious what you guys think in the chat. I think I do it again just because you don't kind of know what's going to happen with Chris Paul in terms of, his age. Over 40 years old. I mean, he was having trouble getting the ball from the three-point line to reach the basket for a little bit. And it's just because we were playing him so much. And it was something that we couldn't do. I'm back and forth on this one. That poison pill of being unable to trade Bradley Beal. I would say absolutely Bradley Beal is the better player than Chris Paul. But Chris Paul right now is on a $10 million contract. I'm not saying that all the numbers would still be the same in hindsight if we just kept on keeping on. But, look at me. I'm convincing myself to go the other way. I think we keep Chris Paul. I think we try and let Landry Shamet go somehow, some way, and and we don't pick up Bradley Beal. You can make the argument, hey, it's just second-round picks. That's true. This isn't like the KD trade, where we said, okay, all the good stuff in the cupboard we'll send out. This was like, hey, this is all we got left in the cupboard. You can have that. Landry Shamet and second-round picks. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was going to be hard to be able to retain Chris. That might have been the reason why it ended up going that way. So I'm a little bit more torn on this one. I think Beal's definitely the improved player, the better player. I just, I don't know. Here I am talking about Chris Paul maybe not being available. We know Bradley Beal's not usually available. He's played 20 games this season of our 30. Played 53 last year. The year before that with Washington, played 50. 40 the year before that, 60 the year before that, 57 the year before that. He played 82 games in 2018, 2019, and 82 games the season before that, 17 and 18. So that's been 18, so 6 years ago since he's played a full season. I'm not saying you got to play all 82. 70 would be nice. He's not coming close. Bradley Beal isn't. Chris Paul played 58 games for the Warriors last year. He's played 31, all the games with the San Antonio Spurs this year. Yeah, I keep Chris Paul. Again, I think kind of like, is Mikal and Cam as good as Kevin Durant? No. Individually, they're not, and you can't stack their numbers together and be like, this is the super player. But the hustle, the grit they have, the availability they have. Mikal Bridges is like an Iron Man player. Kevin's not always available. We gave a ton up for Kevin. I don't do the Kevin trade. Coming back to Chris Paul, Beal is a better scorer for sure. Not sure that that's what we need. I mean, we were so excited when Tyus Jones came to the Valley. We wouldn't really care. We would have, if he came as a backup role to Chris Paul. But if we had Chris Paul, we wouldn't be like, oh, man, we sure need Tyus Jones. We'd be like, we need a quality backup point guard. So, yeah, I think I would have also agreed with the Plantiers. Not done this trade. It's not worth it. Let's take a look at the last one. Perhaps the most controversial one. Mike in the chat says, I bet you can get Butler for Chris Paul. Yeah. Well, at least, the Heat don't want to touch that poison pill trade offer of Bradley Beal. If there was a no trade clause, I wonder if Butler would be here by now, to be honest. Because I think the Heat are over Butler. And I think they might actually bite that bullet and just be like, hey, look, Beal is good. He could give us some good play. He's not going to be available. But, if it doesn't work in a year or so, we can get rid of him. That's fine. Because he got that no trade clause, though, if he don't want to be there, he doesn't get to go. And if he goes there and he doesn't want to leave, you can't make him leave. So that's, as Michael P. says, Chris Paul, maybe, he's if you have Chris Paul, maybe you have the flexibility of being able to go out and get somebody like a Jimmy Butler now. I'll shout out to JC before we move in depth on this third trade. He said, I think the trade for Kevin Durant was good, but we needed to surround him with a more balanced roster instead of select the third superstar mode to run with KD Book. Totally agree. I mean, it'd be interesting, had we kept a Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton lineup, and I don't know, added a Ryan Dunn. What would this team look like now? We could go out and tinker a little bit, and again, that's hindsight's 2020. We could have found players to play with them. This one I thought was going to be interesting, and I'm shocked a little bit about how the votes came out. So, the Suns versus the Mavericks was obviously before, the Mavericks game. And, like I said, we're not going to rehash the Luka versus Ayton debate. So in hindsight, did the Suns trade for Nurkic and Grayson Allen? Don't forget, Grayson Allen came to us through this trade as well. Suns got Grayson Allen, Yusuf Nurkic, Nasir Little, Keon Allen, totally forgot his name. Nasir Little, that was a tough one. Blazers get DeAndre Ayton, Drew Holiday, Tumani Kamara, who is like Suns Twitter just loves that guy. He never played on our team. He played summer league, and that was it. Bucks sent out their first round pick, and the Bucks got Damian Lillard. This ended up opening the door, as somebody points out. Luke Godfrey, friend of the show, Planeteer. Biggest problem for me is that it allowed the Celtics to win this trade, and they weren't even involved. Yeah, because they ended up getting Drew Holiday out of the deal. That was absurd. What's interesting here is the vote. 22. There's still 1 hour, so people can go vote, I guess. But Allen and Nurkic, 50% said, yep, make that trade. 50% said no. Ayton had more value. Just an average Joel said, anybody that voted for Nurkic deserves to have a lobotomy. Seriously. Joel is obviously one of the biggest Ayton stands. If you've seen him on social media, you know that. So I'm not surprised with that. Yusuf Nurkic has had a tough year. I think that's true. And I don't think too many people are going to be shocked to hear me say that either. It just, it's not been as good for him as it has been for, I guess as we were hoping. I never thought that Nurk was going to come in and be a dominant player. But let's go over his numbers real quick. So he's usually pretty available. I'll give him credit there. Last year he played 76 games, ended up, 11 rebounds a game, basically 11 points a game on 51% shooting. Didn't really shoot the three, 24%. He wasn't asked to. He also got 4 assists a game, matches a career high. Not bad, right? This year, his numbers, minutes are down a little bit, down about 3 minutes less a game, shooting 45% instead of 51%. He is shooting threes now at 30%, so not great. 9.5 rebounds, so he's down almost 2 rebounds a game, 2 assists a game instead of 4. We don't really need him to create as much. I get that, though. 8.8 points a game compared to 10.9. That is the Yusuf Nurkic decline. It's a little bit of a decline. You can blame it a little bit on the system, but it's a decline. Grayson Allen, as we already talked about before, he led the league in 3-point shooting last year. I think he dang near made this entire thing an easy slam dunk. Absolutely pull that trigger on this trade. His numbers aren't the same this year. Last year he was playing 33.5 minutes a game, shooting 46% from three, 13.5 points a game, close to 4 rebounds, a few assists. He had a great season with us. That's why he got paid. This year, though, his time is down, almost 10 minutes less a game. He's missed a few games as well, but he's down to about 24 minutes a game instead of 33, shooting 40% instead of 50%. Instead of 46% from 3, he's shooting 37.6% from 3. This is not the same Grayson Allen that we were used to. He's just, maybe it's kind of like the reverse of the Eric Gordon situation we had last year, where Gordon, when he'd come in and start, oh my God, he played great. When he'd come off the bench, we were like, what are you doing to this team, Eric Gordon? Grayson Allen might just be a better starter, but he's not going to get started on this team right now with the lineup we've got of Tyus Jones, Booker, Beal, Durant. He's just not going to get a lot of starts when we have to throw people out there instead, like a Ryan Dunn for defense and that kind of stuff. Grayson's good on defense, not as good, I would say, as Ryan Dunn though. So let's take a look real quick. I mean, the debate is going to be DeAndre Ayton, right? Played 55 games last year. He missed 1 game because his driveway was frozen. He played 13.5 minutes. He had 16.7 points. I remember at one point he thought he could shoot threes. He tried it a little bit with the Suns. He shot 10% last year. They told him not to shoot threes either. He had 11.1 rebounds, though. Less than a block a game. I don't know what happened to him that they made. Was he getting in foul trouble too much, maybe, early in his career? In his second year with the team, the bubble year, he was averaging 1.5 blocks. And the next year, he was averaging 1.2. Since then, it's always under 1 a game. But as I mentioned, 16.7 points with the Blazers. This year, they've pulled back his minutes by about 2 minutes a game. He's only playing 30 minutes, shooting 56%, a little bit down, 26% from 3. Free throw percentage is way down. He's 62.5% from the charity stripe compared to 82.3. His career average is 75.8. So he's significantly down. Only 10 rebounds a game, 0.9 blocks, 14.5 points. I do this trade. DeAndre Ayton was on a max contract. I don't think, if you show me his numbers now and say, yeah, this guy's on a max contract, but he's still young, you can get him, you can develop him. I don't think anyone's taking that bait right now. I don't think anyone wants to touch DeAndre Ayton right now. It's a huge contract. There's not a poison pill in it, like a no-trade clause. But Nurkic, as frustrating as it's been, and what's interesting about Suns fandom, we want that athleticism and hustle. We didn't have the hustle with DeAndre Ayton. We did have the athleticism. With Nurk, we really don't have either. He's not a low motor guy. I'd say he's higher motor than Nurk, but he's not like, to me, he's not. He's certainly not going to blow you away with any athleticism, put it that way. And he's not going to, super hustle anything like that either, is how I would describe it. We're just not going to see him. Remember the days when Shaq played on the Suns and he was diving out of bounds into the crowd? Yeah, you're not going to see Jusuf Nurkic do that. Probably for the best. We would prefer to have him available on the court instead of not have him available, I would say. Yeah, I think I still do this trade just because it's, Grayson's struggling a little bit right now. Nurk's struggling a little bit right now. But, look at the numbers for Ayton. I just don't think it was worth it. He's worth more. So I think maybe that's probably why I went 50-50 in this deal. So I'd be curious what you guys think too. So think about that. It's a little bit of a surprise, I think. I want to shout out my co-host, Kevin Salute. Let's see here. Pull up his and we'll present and share a screen. And we'll pull his screen up, and I promise it won't be that German anthem. And there we go. Kevin Salute. Check him out on Bright Side of the Sun. The Phoenix Suns are a story of consistency, more like the consistent lack thereof is the most consistent thing about them. As much as it's hard to write about the negatives after a great win, and as you can tell, it was a win written after the comment about the win against the Denver Nuggets on Christmas Day. It's important to know the Suns have not fixed their issues permanently, 100%. And we saw that. Oh, sorry. Gosh. Just realized I wasn't sharing that to you guys. I apologize. But you can check out Kevin's work on Bright Side of the Sun and check out that article to learn about just essentially how consistently inconsistent this Phoenix Suns team has been. And I think that says a lot about the team to say, here we are, 30 games into the season. 15-15. And if, again, you told me 3 years ago, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, I think Nurk is like a quality player. Tyus Jones, we're going to be on this team. I'd say, oh my God, have we crushed the league yet? Right now, we're 10th in the West. 10th. Play-in tournament. Worst spot in the play-in tournament. That's embarrassing. I don't know what changed for this team. Devin Booker, for example, this year, playing more minutes than he did the last 2 years at 36.5, shooting 43.9%. That's down 5% from last year and from the year before that. Shooting 34.5% from three. That's down 2 percentage points from last year. 3.7 rebounds. That's down 0.8 from last year. 6.4 assists. That's down half an assist from last year. Again, he's playing more minutes. He's averaging 25.1 points a game. Devin Booker's regressed. I think a lot of the Suns fans pick on Nurk. They pick on Bradley Beal. Get that. We expected Devin Booker to be better. He wanted to be the next Kobe. He wanted to be legendary. It's not happening. He's not available right now. He's out and injured. Grayson Allen's taking a step back. Nurkic is taking a step back. Bradley Beal is taking a step back. Kevin Durant has maintained himself. He's not excelled in any way. He's a phenomenal player. He's not 10 years ago where he's going to be able to put this team on his back. this sucks. This just sucks. I still think, just looking at it on paper, looking at these players compared to last year when we had, Keita Bates-Diop and Jordan Goodwin and, who was the three-point specialist came over from the Nets, the Japanese player? I at one point thought he was going to start. Can't remember his name. He's not in the league anymore. He's in Japan. I don't even know he's playing over there, but he's done playing. Or he's out of the NBA. And I look at this team and I think, okay, Royce O'Neal, quality player. I think Mason Plumlee, minimum contract, quality player. Ryan Dunn, great rookie so far. You know, we know offense isn't his strong suit. He's playing great defense. Also, Iguodala, what a gem in the second round. I think Josh Okogie, all of his limitations aside, I mean, again, he's not an offensive dynamo. Great defender. I think he's a quality bench piece to have. We had him last year too, but I'm starting to think that the Suns fans they're in the back going ball. Like I think there's some Suns fan that basically is just hoping that something could magically happen to fix this team. Damian Lee, we kind of thought maybe he'd step up into the Eric Gordon volume shooting from three role. No, it hasn't happened. Not that he's hurting the team. He's on a minimum contract again. Yuta, thank you, Andrew Dang. Appreciate that. Yuta the shooter. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think I haven't looked at all the numbers, and I won't bore you guys with me reading it all out loud to you more. But JC says Suns Chile. Royce O'Neal is the only player with a better season than last year. I think that's probably true. Maybe a Josh Okogie. I'm not. That might be the only other one, and that's only just because it's recency bias. I saw him hustling. Thought, oh, that guy's good. Just about everyone else, though, is having a down year or, maybe in the case of Kevin Durant, the same year. What hope is there on the horizon? Not much. Really not much. The big takeaway, let me see if I can find it real quick, and then don't worry, we'll move to wrap. And I'm not going to put my boy on blast because I do like him. But I did think this was interesting because I don't think that he was expecting this kind of pushback. Let's see here. Find the right one. And some of you might actually know what I'm looking to pull up. Yeah, this is good enough, I think. Wait, here we go. Okay, reading comprehension is important. There we go. Here we go. I found the tweet. I'll show it up for you guys to see. Stop screen, present. And for those of you that pour over Suns Twitter a lot, you know exactly what I'm pulling up. And Flex from Jersey, our boy Flex with the Flex bombs. We've seen him on lots of podcasts. He used to be with PHNX. And he pointed out recently, and this was after the terrible loss to the Nuggets before the win, later on before our loss then again to the Mavericks. Listen, at some point, people have to stop pointing all the blame towards players and start questioning the coach and coaches as well. It goes both ways. Everyone needs to be held accountable when things are going this bad. There's too much talent for it to be a one-sided discussion. And yeah, nobody agreed with that. He made some points later that, again, what his point was it's a team game. It's a whole system thing. The front office has to be held accountable. The coaches have to be held accountable. The players have to be held accountable. The way it came across was, hey, why are we picking on the coaches because this isn't working out too well? And exactly what everyone was saying basically was you had Monty Williams, Coach of the Year, Monty Williams, who said everything you want is on the other side of hard. He was the motivational speaker coach. Got rid of him. We brought in Frank Vogel, championship-winning, defensive-minded coach. Fired him. We brought in championship-winning, offensive-minded coach Mike Budenholzer. Maybe we got to blame the coaches. I'm not sure. To an extent, because our guys have regressed, and maybe we're not putting them in positions to succeed. At some point, the players have to have the big boy pants and say, "Look, we can't do it this way. It's just not working right." Because there's a lot of talent on this team, and we're locked into it. We're locked into it right now. It's sad to see it. I don't think anyone in the Valley wants to see Devin Booker shipped out. Devin Booker has great value to be traded right now. Bradley Beal's stock is very low, not because he's a bad player. It's because of that contract. Yusuf Nurkic's contract is guaranteed next year. So it's not an expiring contract. So it's tough he's not a bad center for his contract. It's tough to offload and then expect that you're going to get something better that's going to significantly improve this team for his contract. Josh Okogie's contract, Grayson Allen's contract, tradable, valuable. Royce O'Neal, even to an extent. Are we just rearranging the chairs on the Titanic at that point, though? Do you trade Grayson Allen and expect to get a massive haul? Do you expect to get a difference-making player? Are we just that one role player away? I don't think you get a star trading a Grayson Allen away or a Royce O'Neal away. So that leads to the final question. We'll have to talk about it next week. Kevin Durant. If this team does not shape up and we're still treading water, 500 at the trade deadline, do we say the experiment just didn't work? Do we say goodbye to one of the greatest players to ever play in the Valley? Do we say Kevin Durant just didn't have it? I mean, I hate to say it, but he likes chilling and balling. And he's chilling a lot. And I don't know. He can maintain himself, but all the other Suns players might be chilling too much now. And because they certainly ain't balling. It's tough. It's tough out there, Suns fans. We got each other, though. We got each other at the end of the day. Hey, if you like what we're doing here on Suns Planet, go ahead and buy us a coffee, buy us a beer. You see the information. I actually put it into the description this time. So support the show a little bit if you could. Buy us our next cup of coffee or our next beer. And I'll tell you what, I'll even drink it live on the show and toast you if you can. So I appreciate it. We are still below the YouTube algorithms. We don't draw any money from this YouTube stuff or Twitter stuff for that matter. If you do listen to the podcast, I appreciate it. We do run small ads on that. Gets us about $2 a month. So I appreciate that. But if you want to support the show, Buy Me a Coffee is what it's called. You can buy us whatever you want. It supports the show a little bit. With that, just wanted to go through real quick. I wanted to highlight just a couple things before I left. JC had pointed it out. Our defensive effort has been horrible the last month. This last week, we're adding a worrying lack of cohesion to the attack. I think it's true. I think actually our defense has improved the last two games. We got the one win against the Nuggets. I don't know what's happening, though. Like, we're bad defensively, and now we had some slight improvement, but all of a sudden we forgot how to play offense. It doesn't make sense. The Mavericks were without Luka and Derek Lively. Kyrie Irving shot terribly. We lost that game. Unstar made the point. I'm not going to lie. I'm so confused on the direction of this team. All of us are. And it's not because they did anything wrong. We all got excited initially when Kevin Durant came to the Valley, when we got Bradley Beal. Oh, my God, I was over the moon excited for this team. It just isn't working right now. And I don't know if picking on the coaches, I don't know if, and saying, let's go get a different coach. Let's bring back Alvin Gentry. Let's go back to a Suns classic. I don't know if anything like that. Bring me Patrick Ewing. That's what I want. I don't know if any type of coaching change or trading Josh Okogie or Royce O'Neal is going to work. And let me be very clear, Planeteers. I want it to work. I want championships. I want at least one. And I want this team to get it. I can't make them. We can't make them. And there's nothing that we can call for to make it happen. And I feel like James Jones and Ishbia are like, we can't do anything either now to make that happen. Because I just don't think that any of the tools to fix this are at the disposal. It's does this team want to figure it out? When Bradley Beal likes playing defense, he can be good at defense. When Kevin Durant wants to not turn the ball over, he knows how to do that. When Devin Booker wants to get his shooting numbers back up, he knows how to do it. He's done it before. We're not asking for something that hasn't been done before. That's the challenge right now. So hang with us. We'll talk next week about Kevin Durant. Should we trade him? What could we even get for him? 4 first-round picks, Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges? Probably not. Wouldn't quite happen that way. We wouldn't probably get the same amount of value back. But, yeah, that's the way it goes. Follow me at Fallen Founder. Follow the Suns Show at Suns Planet. Guys, I appreciate you guys all being here. We'll see you next week. And, yeah, I'm hat tip to Suns Geek. Hat tip to Void. I think he was doing it last night. Run the show solo. Not the easiest thing. Appreciate you guys bearing with me, especially as my internet kind of crapped out there for about a minute. Felt like an eternity for me. So with that, Al, build us all back up, buddy.
Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, stay with us as the Suns get set to shine here on their home court.
Here's Perry. The guard hurt. Here's the jump shot. Good. It's good.
Al McCoy with you courtside. Pumped up a 3.
Shazam! He ties it. Hey, D.A. Al and Tim up here.
happy birthday!
Right. Yeah.
I know it's the ball, but happy birthday, baby!
Here's Cameron Payne out on top. Durant, 3-pointer straight away.
Shazam! I just want to take this opportunity to thank everyone in this arena this afternoon, to all of those that are watching and listening on radio and TV. Thank you for allowing me to tell the story of the Suns for 51 great years.
That pretty much wraps things up here. And for one last time, this is Al McCoy saying thanks for being there. Thanks for being with us tonight. And from the Footprint Center here in downtown Phoenix, we'll just say so long for now.